Okay, good morning, Ridgewood. We are joined today
Mr.
by,
Bailey, 1 second. Keep recording. I'll keep recording.
okay,
So while we're recording, I just wanted to say something. I asked Mr. Troy for a very specific reason. Number one, you've been doing a lot of amazing stuff for the high school. Primarily, things coming up with this idea of doing these interviews and things like Maroon Heroes that we're doing on social media. And I asked Mr. Troy to come on today to be my co-interviewer so that we could take this opportunity to interview you.
come on, it's not allowed. That's in the bylaws.
It's too late. That just happened.
I don't know if you know this, but you're kind of a big deal, and we're turning the tables on you, big fella.
I'm ending. Well, I have the recording options here, so I'm going to end it right
here. You can't do it. Can't do it. So, Mr. Bailey, if you wouldn't mind, I know a lot of people have been hearing from you so far, but please tell us a little bit about what you do in the building and just what your role is at the high school.
All right. I am, I'm in actually my 10th year as a guidance counselor at Ridgewood High School, which is pretty hard to believe. Before then, I was at Indian Hills in the high school in the special ed department right out of college, and I kind of did it all. And I learned a lot about how a high school runs and the ins and outs of a building and what teachers do on a daily basis and administrators and counselors, and went back to grad school and landed at Ridgewood High School and kind of got lucky because I needed someone and it was October. So landed here and been here ever since. So, I've been in the guidance department for, again, 10 years now.
I think a lot of people probably don't know is that Dave is also my own personal counselor. I meet with him probably for an hour each morning, whether it be before school or during free period, just for professional growth and also like wellness. And he does for me. He does that for all the kids, and he really is something that's special for the building. To the point, I think Marianne Schmidt actually, for a long time, thought I was a guidance counselor, and then when she found out I was supposed to be in history class, I think it rocked her world a little bit.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, Mike, Mike and I are very close, not only as, professionals as teachers, but I've coached under Mike. He's the head basketball coach, as I'm sure everybody knows. So that was just a phenomenal 4 or 5 years for me. And I've learned so much from you, Mike. And you're a teacher first, coach second. And that's, I've learned a lot about teaching, about dealing with kids, about resiliency, and our conversations every single morning I've really valued. I know Marianne, Mrs. Schmitz too, has gotten a kick out of our conversations, but it's really helped me in a lot of ways, professionally, but personally too. And that's what I love most about the high school is the people there. It's and our staff too. We're seeing it right now, what everybody's doing and how they're stepping up. Like when times are tough, you kind of characters revealed, and what our staff is doing right now is unbelievable. I think, 30, 40, 50 years from now, people will look back and really be amazed at what we've accomplished so far and what we'll continue to do.
So how's everything going for you at home? And just, with your family, tell us a little bit about your family, because we know that that your wife is kind of on the front lines a little bit too, and we'd like to obviously thank her and for putting up with you, and but just how have you guys been doing?
Not well. No, we're hanging in. It's I have a 4-year-old daughter who throws me around and bosses me around, and and then a 5-month-old son. So, my wife is in the NICU at Morristown Hospital. She's a nurse. So she's a little bit isolated from everything that's been going on, thankfully. But she went back a month ago from maternity leave. So the days she's gone, it's just me and those two. And I'm just trying to get through the day and make sure everybody's in one piece and everybody's fed. And, not being able to, thankfully, both of our mothers are nearby, but we haven't really been able to incorporate them yet into the rotation. But I'm nearing the breaking point where, come on, guys, I need to call for backup. But we're doing fine. We're really lucky that everybody's healthy. And, I'm really proud of Sarah for, going in and going to work every day and doing what she does, and all the nurses out there. It's Nurses Week. So, I think just like teachers, how everybody sees what a critical job they have every single day and what they do for people.
Dave, I think one of the things I don't know people necessarily know about you, and like when we look at the building, I think where we work, I think is a very special place. And I think there are people who talk about culture, and then I think there are people who shape and move culture, right? And I think the easy thing to do in life is to complain about what we don't have or complain about what's wrong. And the thing I've really appreciated most about you and learned a lot from you, that's easy. Take some time and do the hard stuff. And you've done that consistently with shaping the culture of our building. You're a solutions-oriented guy. And that's something I really hope that rubs off on anyone who comes into contact or stops by your office or whatever, because I think our building has improved so much, large part because of people like you. And I know you don't like to get the credit. I know you'd rather kind of be behind the scenes, but I think times like this, and I appreciate being asked to be on this interview, because I think it's important for people to know who's doing all this stuff, right? It doesn't just happen. So for that, Dave, just want to say thank you. I can even give you a little anecdote. 5 years ago, we came off of a not such a great season. We had one of our best players wanted to quit. And Dave kind of had to be a mediator between me and this player because we were not on the same page whatsoever. And Dave healed that relationship. And it was really something special to watch. And as a result, our program really in the last 4 years has gone just on an upward trajectory. And I really think it had a lot to do with the series of meetings that me, Dave, and that player had. Because the three of us, it wasn't we knew it was wrong, but the three of us sat down and we kind of negotiated solutions. And even that player, he's been gone now for 4 years, but the work that he did to make things better have lasted past him. And I think that's a credit both to the player, but also to Dave and his willingness to kind of see us through and give us a different vision. So again, something just as a small, I think Dave is great.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, I mean, I've been really fortunate in my career in education just to be around a lot of great teachers, a lot of great coaches. Like I just feel like I've been really lucky in who I've been able to surround myself with. And at the end of the day, it's all about those relationships. So all that was just not giving up on somebody, not giving up on a relationship, continuing to talk it through, come to some sort of compromise. It takes work, but that's the kind of stuff that always gives me energy is just working with people. Like I could never have been like an accountant or a lawyer or, no offense to them, but it's just, I can't stand still. I like to be around people. That gives me a lot of energy. So I think I just get that from my parents. But I appreciate that, Mike. That means a lot. And the other part I'll just add is I think there's a difference between like ideas and action. And ideas are great, but until you actually put them into action, they're just kind of ideas in our head. So I think it's important to move a culture of a building is to just try things. And with Dr. Gorman and Mr. Nice and Mr. Pizzuto, what's great about them is they say, as long as you know that it's best for the kids and the students and best for our school, we trust you to try different things. And that's why the last 5 years, like since Dr. Gorman said that, I mean, we've just been kind of throwing things out there and seeing what grabs and seeing what people like and how they respond and just taking action. So I think that's a big part of moving any culture and any team or building.
Absolutely. And that's something that, I've always dropped by your office and had lots of conversations about, just like Mr. Troy was saying about culture and just building community. And I've always appreciated that about you, and being able to bounce ideas off you and be my counselor sometimes too. And
you guys are gonna make me cry.
yeah, well, it's what the honors are well deserved for sure.
And the odds are 10-1 that you will cry by the end. So
That's
heavy action right now.
but I think you kind of summed it up when you were saying if it's going to benefit the kids. I think what I've noticed is that's kind of how you start all your thought processes, and when you're going to do something, you have the kids in mind, and you've been a great kind of role model in our department for keeping the kids first. And things like the Maroon Award, where kids are honored by their teachers. And I just think things like that have been an amazing addition to our school. And we are a better place for those ideas. And
I appreciate it. I mean, I think at the end of the day, we all got into education because we wanted to make an impact. We wanted to help kids. We wanted to make a difference. I know for me, it was because educators other than my parents and my grandparents and aunts and uncles and family, educators were my heroes and the people I looked up to. So I wanted to become them. And, hopefully I can one day do that for our current kids. So I think all of us as educators if we think back to why we got into education, even if it was 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, and we're a little bit older now and more cynical and things like that, I think I always try to remember we all got into this reason or into this business for the right reasons. It wasn't for money or fame or all that. It was to be around people and to help people.
Absolutely. And you keep doing it for the right reasons. That's the great part. Sometimes veterans, we can feel down about what we're doing, but you keep us energized. And so we appreciate that. And we appreciate you for that. So here we go. We're going to enter the lightning round of questions. You ready to go?
The spin zone. All right.
The spin zone. All right. What are you going to do? What's the first thing you're going to do when quarantine is over?
I'm going to go out to dinner. I want to bring my kids to my mom's and just take my wife out to dinner and just have a night of just breathing for a minute. That's what I'm looking forward to do. I don't even care where it is. It might be like, Chili's or Outback. Doesn't have to be fancy.
Start one, bench one, cut one.
Oh,
Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James.
Oh man, Kobe is. I was a little late with Jordan, so I was his first go around. I was like 6, 7, 8 years old, so I remember the last go around. So I'm starting Kobe. He was a killer. Jordan is too. Don't get me wrong, but Kobe. Just loved watching him play. I could not miss a game. I just loved his intensity. And I know he could be rough on his teammates at times, but it was because he wanted to win and he wanted what's best for the team. So I'm going to start Kobe. I know this is going to get a lot of heat and a lot of comments. I'm benching Jordan, and LeBron, he's a bum. I'm cutting him.
Love it. I disagree greatly with you as far as the NBA and the Kobe, but I understand it's just because you're young and naive.
I know. And I'm cutting LeBron. Love him. Right. Good guy, but he can't hang with those two.
Nice. Favorite and possibly most inspirational coach, either that you've had or that you just look up to?
Yeah, without a doubt, Coach Blakely from West Milford. He's a wrestling coach, and I played football, basketball, and golf. He was an assistant football coach, and he ragged me because I didn't wrestle and I wasn't tough enough for him and all that. But he he was more than a coach. So taught me a lot about football, but taught me about mental toughness, about resiliency, about not giving up, about, had some difficult times and overcoming them. And he was always in my corner. And he's 65. He's retired. He still helps out with West Milford. He was actually just released Monday from the hospital. He was on a ventilator. He unfortunately came down with COVID. He was in the hospital for about 6 weeks. He was released, and there's an awesome picture. They put a little bell on his front porch, and he got to his house, and him and his wife rang the bell. So he won the match, and he's still got a long way to go, but it was such a special moment for me and a lot of my teammates and people in high school. He's just meant so much to me and continues to mean a lot to me.
That's awesome.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
Favorite
Yeah. Book?
Yeah.
I can't read. You know that. I'm not a reader.
I was setting you up.
I'm a talker.
Well, then I'll go.
I'm actually reading it right now, believe it or not, and I'm reading Viktor Frankl's A Man's Search for Meaning, and it's usually I read like nonfiction leadership books about sports, inspiring people, leaders. I like kind of war leaders, all that type of thing. But I'm reading this, and it's a very interesting book right now. I can only read about 2 to 3 pages a night, and then I fall asleep. But I think I'm going to be able to finish it by the end of maybe 2021.
Well, Mr. Bailey, we appreciate you being a good sport about us turning the tables on you. You really have been, just an amazing part of this high school for 10 years. And, we appreciate everything that you do. And this isn't even the best way that we can thank you, but it's just a small way to say thank you for all that you do.
Thanks, boys. I really, this means a lot to me. I was not expecting this, but I appreciate it. You guys are both special guys and, great educators, but just great people. And, Ridgewood High School is really lucky to have you guys. So thanks for doing this.
Attitude reflects leadership, and you're my leader. Captain, my captain.
You're in trouble.